It is dismissed and signed by the magistrate in Washington, D.C. Now, why are you arrested in the Southern District of New York where the crime took place? But a magistrate in Washington, D.C. dismissed it. There's no other papers.
Wow.
Now, my researcher found this was amazing. Okay. So I questioned other people. I asked other people, legal people, and they said the case must be sealed. So had he been a confidential informant for a long time? I believe so. That's my theory. All right. He was probably doing other things. He got away with it. And, but this one thing here, he's not going to get away with it. Everybody's waiting for him to bring down who's above him. There's nobody above him. Okay. Nobody above him. People think Clyde Davis. Clyde Davis is with Joe Biden. Neither one of them know what they're doing. Okay. All right. Clyde, what is he? 93 years old. All right. The guy's not going to. Maybe he was probably a pervert like a lot of them. Okay. I'm not saying the stories are not true. Okay. But, you know, who are these individuals? Were there politicians, judges, and very powerful people at these freak off parties that they call them? I imagine that there were. Okay. How many videos do they have? They say they got 6, the prosecutors. Okay. If they got 6, it only takes one. Now, the one that's going to destroy him, and if you go to my YouTube channel, I posted it there again. All right, at the Intercontinental Hotel, just did this a few days ago. Okay, where Diddy beaten and trashed Cassie Ventura like she was a rag. I mean, that, you know what? He should be crucified just for that alone. Okay, forget how many people he had killed, forget everything else, just for beating women. You're a tough guy? No, you're a fucking punk, Diddy. And I hope you hear this. All right? Come after me, and I'm 80 years old. Come after me. I would love to. Oh, he could sue me too. What's he going to get? I don't give a shit.
You got a question from Ohio State girl. When will Diddy's co-conspirators' names come out, or will they? Because he must have had some people to enable him to run this enterprise.
Well, thus far, there's only been one superseding indictment. And now I want to make it clear because I'm going to do a special show about exactly what the RICO Act is. And not like somebody I know who had that asshole Rudy Giuliani on his show. I wouldn't have Rudy Giuliani in my cell. Okay? He's the guy that destroyed more Italian lives single handedly than anybody else. But people want to kiss his ass. Give me a break, okay? Give me a freaking break. All right? You know how many Italians are in prison right now to this day because of him? And they don't belong there? And you have put them on your show? You think you were a gangster? No, you weren't. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. It just upsets me. They take this guy and they want to put him on a plateau.
You got a question from Angel.
Huh?
You got a question from Angel? How would the mafia deal with people like Diddy?
If somebody came to us in those days and we know it, Diddy probably would not be around.
Michelle wants to know, was the mob aware of Epstein's list?
No, we were not. Look at what other people do. Look, we're gangsters, we're criminals. All we're concerned about is getting away with the crimes that we did. Okay, we want to go out. All right, we want to go out and enjoy our life, have a happy day, make a score today, and we want to be able to uh want to be able to enjoy my life as best as we could. We're gangsters. I don't care. You're a gangster. You're doing this. You're doing that. That's your business, not mine. I don't. We don't get in other people's business unless we have to. Unless it's brought to us that somebody did something wrong, and there might have to be a sit down to resolve it, or however necessary means to bring it to fruition. But I hope that answers the question.
Yeah,
But
you're getting asked for your thoughts on OJ.
listen, I knew about Harvey Weinstein years ago. And how I knew was through a friend of mine who was married to a famous actress that Harvey Weinstein tried to do something. And he told me about it. I said, well, that's wrong. I said, you want me to handle it? No, like everybody else in Hollywood, they knew about it, but nobody wanted to do anything because Harvey Weinstein was a very powerful individual. Now from Harvey Weinstein, this woke thing started. And, it's got everybody in Hollywood frightened. I'm going to be honest with you. I know female executives at studios that if they get on the elevator, guys won't get on with them. Okay. They feel offended now. Okay. Because this woke thing went way overboard. But, you don't hear about the stars who are who's worth 200, $300 million and they're A-list actors. You don't hear them coming out and say, yeah, I went to bed with this guy and that guy, and I'm an A-list actress and I'm worth $300 million. You don't hear them coming out, do you? No, you hear the ones who couldn't get a job, who couldn't act. They should have been delighted that he even wanted to go to bed with them. Forgive me, ladies. All right. What he did was entirely wrong, but does he deserve this much time in prison for it? Seriously. Because, and no matter it's happening in corporations, it's happening in government, it's happening today still. It's just part of life. All right. Some men are just no good. All right. And they're a little mental up here. Or maybe all of us men are a little bit mental. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you.
What about OJ?
OJ is another individual. Got a story about that. Many years, I told you I knew Joe Esposito. Joe Esposito, who was Elvis's right hand man, owned a limousine company here up on Sunset Boulevard. My car was in auto being fixed. It was in a mechanic's garage. So I needed a car for the weekend. So Joe let me take one of his limousines. On Monday morning, he called. My car wasn't going to be ready till Tuesday. He called me Monday. He said, we need the car. We got to get OJ. He's got to get to the airport. He said, Ori, will you drive him? I said, no fucking way am I driving him. I said, no. I said, call Emilio. Tell Emilio to drive to OJ's house. I'll meet Emilio there with the limousine. I'll take Emilio's car home. And so when I pulled in where he lived on Rockingham there, he's in the driveway and his wife's in the doorway, frightened as shit, and he's yelling at her like crazy. I mean, it was so. I mean, he was abusing her probably during the whole relationship. Okay. But on the other hand, he was very jealous of her, uh, and he killed her and the other guy. All right. I firmly believe Elvis did it without question. There was no mob affiliated with that dairy either, like these rumors start, okay, on YouTube that he knew Gambino guys, and no, they were not involved. So people come up with this shit and want to put the mafia into everything. All right, and pretty soon Martha Stewart will be putting us in her recipes. Okay, but then no, it's not. And I met him and his wife, Joe Stellini, on Pico Boulevard. He had a restaurant. Good friends with OJ, and New Year's Eve party. I did meet him then. That was my first time meeting OJ. Look, you live in Los Angeles. When you're going out, you can't help but to run in and meet other people. Okay, and I was out every night in those days. That was my life.
KP wants to know who's the most corrupt person you met in Hollywood.
Woo! I don't know. Depends what day of the week it is because there's a lot. A con man in Hollywood. Hollywood's the worst. You got so many guys saying they're producers, directors, this, that, and never done a goddamn thing only so they can get in bed with a woman. I mean, you won't believe. And everybody says they know somebody, but at the end of the day, they know nobody. It's, you know, I'm very happy with Donald Trump appointing John Boyd, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone as ambassadors. Had a meeting here with some prominent people in Hollywood yesterday, and I brought that up. I said, "Is this going to change anything?" Because in Hollywood, you were a Republican, you got blackballed, and people don't understand what blackballed means. All right, well, think about Jimmy Woods. Okay, Jimmy Woods was one of the first to come out years ago. You don't see him in any movies, do you? Okay. I know of a director who won Best Picture of the Year. Okay, won 3 Oscars for his movie, but because he made a statement one time about that he sided with the conservative side. All right, even though he won the Oscar, he got no reviews. I mean, they got ways. I'd like to know who this small group of people are. Okay, they'll probably blackball me too. Okay, but it, those are the kind of things that it's just Diddy made a lot of money, and he didn't utilize his money proper way like somebody else who was a billionaire. Okay, I don't know if you know it. He went from a net worth of $900 million. He's down to 300 million now. Still a lot of money. 300. His home is not selling. Nobody wants to buy it over here in Holmby Hills. Nobody. They call it icky. But the same scenario, you got people in Hollywood or in major corporations, they got the power, okay? And they don't utilize that power in the right way. to use it to blackball somebody, first of all, that's a waste of your time. Should not be done. It's not honorable because because those who think that way, then they are not thinking that we're a democratic society. They are the ones, they'll call the others Hitler and so forth, but they are the real ones doing that kind of stuff. They don't realize it. Why can't we have a friendly world? Why can't we all get along? I'm a former gangster. I got my beliefs. You got your beliefs. They differ. We could agree to disagree, but hey, I'm going to still sit down with you and have a lunch or a dinner. It's not going to stop me. We just think differently. My neighbor thinks differently than I do. I mean, think of what a boring world it would be if we all thought the same way.
Viewers, we've got 15 minutes left before the next show starts. To get your final questions in for Ori. And Jen wants to know, how is the vibe in Hollywood after the fires?
The vibe is good. Everybody's worried about, whether how long it's going to take them to build, because they got all these restrictions, and that's why a lot of people outside of California don't want to come in California to do business because of all the red tape. All right. I just had somebody here this morning, my gal who helps me with my, going live and that there, that a producer she worked for, they had moved to Connecticut. Okay. Uh, but a lot of people are moving out of California. Taxes, we pay the highest in the country. We get nothing for it. You want to go on business, it's the red tape you got to go through. All right. They just hurt the people. They're hurting the people. And, but I think that's going to change. We're a free country, and our government has got to allow the people of this country to be free. And I think we're getting there. And I hope we do.
So you got a question. Was Michael Jackson a good man, or were the allegations true?
From people that I know who knew Michael, they liked Michael. So I can't say anything bad about him in that way. I didn't know him. And, the guy, I still listen to him too every day on the radio. All right. Definitely one of the best. Everybody wanted to be like him. Like a lot of young men, he had difficulties with his family, and a lot of bad things happened to him. And I guess supposedly he did bad things to young kids. Uh, but I don't know that for a fact. I didn't see it, so I can't say anything bad about Michael.
What do you think of the early death of Michael and Prince?
I think Michael Jackson. What?
How he died young. Michael Jackson and Prince died young.
He died too young. He died too young. Boy, Whitney Houston. He died too young. And then who was it yesterday saying they think Diddy had something to do with her dying. I forgot who. That came out yesterday. Somebody on YouTube. I thought about it. Wait a minute. It's a Clive Davis party. And Clive was notorious for these parties with a Grammy. And it happened right down the street at the Hilton Hotel here. Of course, Diddy was always at Clive Davis's parties, right? Did anybody know I heard they had a Clive Davis party, but was Clive Davis here? I don't know. I'm trying to find that information. Nobody can give me the answer.
So you're getting asked if you've got any stories about John Gotti.
I met John twice. On both occasions, I was with